Iraq and Israel issue, we also took note of what is happening elsewhere. That's why it's important we, in our region, we label ourselves in the Pacific Ocean of Peace. And in the latest statement that is coming out, Papua New Guinea's foreign policy is universally has become also part of our Pacific DNA. We said that we are friends to all, enemies to none. No one's enemy should be our enemy, imposed on us as our enemy. We want our region to remain peaceful and coexistence. When the world is in stress out there, at the Pacific and in Papua New Guinea, let's not take our peace for granted. It is the business of leaders to make sure peace is secured at all times, and inter-regional peace. Today, what you see in Iran for Papua New Guineans is not a conventional face-to-face fight where soldiers are out there on the field fighting. It is technology, ICT-driven missile exchange, high technology-based stuff that is happening on. Today, more than 2,000-3,000 kilometers of distance could be covered at the press of a button. So in the context, part of our discussion at MSC today, peace by all means, Pacific must be peaceful and friends to all, enemies to not going forward. We also call for the nations that are in contest at war right now to, in as much as possible, restrain and allow consensus and peace settlement to find its place. There's a room for mediation, there's a room for consensus, there's a room for peace. And it can only happen when leaders are willing to sit and talk. And we've called for this because the unintended outcome of this will be passed on inflation to the world around us. When oil field is shut at Iran or Iraq or in the Middle East, the price of oil goes up, and it passed on to the bosses. Of course, Papua New Guinea will gain in increased oil or gas price, but that's not the complete picture. At the floor, at the people, you feel the increase in the price of fuels. So it's advisable that the war be stopped and the two nations come to a table and talk. We are not, in our view, big in terms of influence to what happens between Iran and Iraq, but from the body of leaders concerned, Pacific Bloc, 15 of us, together we sit on the side of peace all the time. And many of the nations that we relate to, Papua New Guinea, for instance, has a global relations to more than 10 members of the G20 economies. We relate at the personal level to all of them. Count them: USA, China, Japan, Indonesia, Australia, South Korea, France, UK, Germany, India, and the list goes on. These are Papua New Guinea's special bilateral relationship. So at the bilateral level, our conversation has always been peace at all levels. We hope for peace in the Middle East, because what happens there influences the price of crude oil. And the price of crude oil has a direct effect on imported inflation all over the world, including Papua New Guinea. But as for Papua New Guinea, our government is sensitive to what might happen. We have shown we can transfer gain elsewhere in the economy to passing on slash in burden in our community, especially at the toilets of our economy, like the slashing of GST in the 13 essential household items. So if there's a spike in elsewhere, then how do we contain that spike in the increase in cost of living? Government will be sensitive to these measures going forward. But we hope for peace. Let's pray for peace. The best thing all of us can do is pray for peace. And Papua New Guinea continues to stand with Israel for sentimental values and principle-based values. Nations around, in my view, this is a principle-based statement, and our government statement. Nations around must respect the sovereignty of Israel. To respect the sovereignty of Israel, then you will find in the heart of it, peace will emerge. The territory of Israel as it is today was carved out before you and me exist today. And so when nations respect the sovereignty of Israel, some of us who are friends of Israel can be able to tell Israel, your sovereignty is respected, so can we talk peace? Until then, when the sovereignty is affected, territory has to defend its sovereignty. So it starts, in my view, in the context. We've sent our word out in our bilateral conversations. I think respect to Israel's sovereignty will give room for those who relate to Israel in a big way. USA, Papua New Guinea, 4 nations have embassies in Jerusalem. We've recalled Ambassador Mokono to operate out of Jerusalem right now, but because we are present right inside, when the sovereignty of Israel is respected in totality, then it gives room for those of us who are closer right inside to talk at that level of conversation. Okay, thank you too much.